The Biden administration has relocated the final group of Afghan evacuees from a New Jersey military base. The effort ends the first stage of a massive, months-long resettlement operation following the collapse of the now Taliban-controlled Afghan government. 76,000 Afghans have already relocated to their new communities in the U.S. According to information obtained by CBS News, nearly half of the 67,000 Afghans processed at domestic bases have settled in these states. Another 21,000 have settled in 17 other states, and that number could grow. Wyoming is the only state not expected to receive any evacuees. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez is here with me now. Hi, Camilo. Great to see you. So officials say that this resettlement program is one of the largest in American history, certainly the largest in recent history. Can you tell us how many refugees have been resettled? Where did they all go? And why is Wyoming not on that list?
This is certainly the largest evacuation and resettlement operation by the U.S. government since 1975, when the U.S. resettled tens of thousands of Vietnamese refugees following the fall of Saigon. So far, as you mentioned, 76,000 of these Afghan evacuees have been resettled in over 200 communities across the U.S. Many of them were processed at these military installations where they underwent vaccination against the coronavirus and other diseases, as well as immigration paperwork. We know that half of the evacuees processed at these military installations have resettled in 8 states, including Texas and California. Another dozen states have received each more than 1,000 evacuees. And as you mentioned, Wyoming is the only state that we understand is not set to receive any evacuees.
Is that because state officials have said we don't want any evacuees, or why is that?
It's unclear, but there is not the same resettlement infrastructure in that state compared to these larger states.
Okay, we know you'll dig into that and find the answer. Okay, so we know that top FEMA official Bob Fenton has been leading these resettlement efforts. You spoke with Fenton. What did he tell you?
So Bob Fenton, who is a DHS official overseeing this effort, said that this is the largest operation of its kind. Again, these evacuees needed culturally appropriate food, faith services, vaccination, medical services, legal assistance to file applications for work permits and asylum applications. And so he likened these military bases to 8 small cities.
Let's hear some of your interview with him.
I think this population is special. These are individuals that work for, the United States and supported our military in war over the last decade. And so there's a lot of unique stories. I've had the opportunity to walk through the bases, hear these stories. Met a woman who's resettling to Minnesota that looks forward to being a teacher there and giving back to the United States. Many of these people want to enter our communities. They want to be accepted. Just amazing to walk among the kids and see the smiles, and have led a very vulnerable life. And so we, as Americans, need to help accept them in, help them get situated, and welcome to the United States.
So Bob Fenton is very welcoming. Do we know if the majority of Americans feel as welcoming?
Polling does seem to indicate, Tanya, that a majority of Americans support helping and resettling Afghans who directly assisted U.S. military forces during the 20-year war in Afghanistan. And to be frank, this is a rare immigration policy that has garnered bipartisan support, including from Republicans in Congress. However, some conservative Republicans have expressed concern about the way these evacuees were vetted and screened. But the Biden administration has maintained that all of these evacuees went through rigorous vetting at overseas military installations before reaching U.S. soil. And we also know, according to a government report that we obtained, that several hundred evacuees were barred from entering the U.S. after red flags were raised during processing.
And Camilo, you talked to Fenton about a variety of things, including how these refugees are getting acclimated to a new normal. Let's listen to what he said.
One of the things we were focused on was safety of not only the Afghan population, but communities in the United States. So to ensure that all the age-appropriate vaccinations were provided to our guests as they evacuated was important. Plus doing all the screening and vetting overseas and again at our ports of entry to ensure of who we were letting in the United States, and that from a security standpoint, we were making good decisions in that respect.
So, Camilo, what other obstacles are both the government and these Afghan refugees facing?
One major obstacle, Tanya, is that many of these evacuees could find themselves in legal limbo. For all intents and purposes, these evacuees are refugees because they fled a war zone. However, legally, they are not refugees because they did not enter through the traditional U.S. refugee program. The Biden administration authorized their entry through another classification known as humanitarian parole, and parole allows them to live and work here legally, but it does not offer them a pathway to permanent legal status.
So their paperwork is tricky, is what you're saying. They're going to have to go through all these legal hurdles, correct?
Correct. Unless Congress moves to legalize them, as the Biden administration has proposed, these evacuees will not have a permanent pathway to U.S. citizenship.
So will they not be able to work here then?
They will be able to work here and live here for up to 2 years, and they can renew that classification called parole. But again, they cannot have access to green cards right now and ultimately U.S. citizenship unless they apply for asylum and win asylum. But the asylum program currently has over 400,000 unresolved applications.
Many challenges, but I'm sure they wouldn't change it for anything, right? You've spoken to some families that are happy to be here, correct?
Yes, we spoke to an Afghan evacuee who said he used to work at an American military base in Afghanistan before the Taliban takeover. He was brought to the U.S. alongside his wife and their 3 minor children. They are now living in an apartment in Northern Virginia, listed by Airbnb, which has actually set up a program to house evacuees. They're hoping to move to a more permanent location in the coming days. After that, he told me that he will seek to enroll his children in school and try to find work. He said the children love Virginia and they love going to the park, but he did express concern about the family's legal status. And he mentioned that he hopes Congress and the U.S. government will provide them some certainty in the coming months.
Sure. Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thank you so much for your excellent reporting on this. We appreciate it.